piece from Mark Carney praises Donald Trump for India, Pakistan ceasefire, calls him a transformative president. So, Canada's Prime Minister just credited Donald Trump with bringing peace to India and Pakistan. There's only one tiny problem with that story. India's like, sir, we were there. That's not what happened. Buckle up, Canada Bulletin fam, because this diplomatic love fest just got awkward. What's up, Canada Bulletin crew? Welcome back to the channel, where we break down Canadian news with the energy of a double-double and the sass of a hockey chirp. Today, oh boy. Today we're diving into Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent visit to the Oval Office, where he basically turned into Donald Trump's hype man. And folks, the compliments were flowing like maple syrup on a stack of pancakes. But here's the twist. One of those compliments involves a conflict between two nuclear-armed nations, and the actual people involved in that conflict are saying, hold up, that's not how this went down. Hit that like button if you love international diplomatic drama, and let's get into it. All right, let's set the scene. Tuesday morning. The Oval Office. Mark Carney walks in to meet Donald Trump, and apparently decided that subtlety was taking the day off. Carney opens with, "You are a transformative president." Now look, I'm Canadian. We apologize when someone bumps into US. So seeing our PM lay it on the stick? That's like watching someone order their coffee with 7 creams and 8 sugars. It's a lot. But wait, there's more. Carney doesn't stop there. Oh no. He starts listing Trump's greatest hits like he's hosting a presidential highlight reel. Unprecedented commitments of NATO partners to defense spending. Okay, fair point. NATO members have been stepping up their budgets. Then he pivots to the economy. Classic political move. Can't go wrong there. But then, and this is where things get spicy, Carney drops this gem, peace from India, Pakistan, through to Azerbaijan, Armenia, disabling Iran as a force of terror. Record scratch. Freeze frame. Did our Prime Minister just credit Trump with peace between India and Pakistan? Because, and I'm just putting this out there, India has some opinions about that claim. And by opinions, I mean they flat out said, nope, that's not what happened. So before we get into India's thanks, but no thanks response, let's talk about what actually went down between India and Pakistan earlier this year. Here's the deal. In April 2025, tragedy struck. A devastating terror attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir claimed 26 lives, mostly tourists. Families destroyed, lives cut short. And India, understandably, was not having it. India pointed fingers at terrorist groups they believe were operating from across the border in Pakistan. So on May 7th, India launched Operation Sindoor, precision strikes targeting multiple terrorist camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and inside Pakistan itself. Now, when you have two nuclear-armed nations exchanging military fire, the world holds its breath. This wasn't a Twitter beef. People, this was serious. For several days, military exchanges continued. Planes in the air, tensions through the roof. And then, on May 10th, a ceasefire was announced. Here's the crucial part everyone needs to understand. According to India, the ceasefire happened through direct talks between the military leadership of both countries. Specifically, the Directors General of Military Operations, the DGMOs, had a conversation. Pakistan's DGMO requested the ceasefire, India agreed, and that was that. No mediators, no third parties, no Trump tariff threats whispering sweet nothings into anyone's ear. Just two nations directly communicating and deciding to stop the violence. Pretty straightforward, right? But here's where Trump enters the chat, and oh boy, does he have a different version of events. So according to Donald Trump, and he's been saying this repeatedly since May, he stopped the India-Pakistan conflict. His secret weapon? Tariffs. Yes, tariffs. The economic equivalent of do what I say or I'll make your imports more expensive. Trump literally told reporters, if I didn't have the power of tariffs, you would have at least 4 of the 7 wars raging. If you look at India and Pakistan, they were ready to go at it. What I said was very effective. They stopped, and that was based on tariffs. Now, I love confidence, but this is like claiming you stop a hurricane because you told it to calm down. Sure, The hurricane stopped, but correlation isn't causation, my dude. And Trump went even further at a private Republican dinner, claiming that planes were being shot out of the air, 5 jets were shot down. He's painting this picture of an all-out aerial war that he personally de-escalated through sheer force of economic pressure. It's a compelling story. Very action movie. Very deal-maker president saves the world. There's just one problem. India is standing in the corner waving their arms going, "Excuse me, we were actually there and that's not what happened." So let's talk about India's response, because they are not letting this narrative slide. India's response to Trump's claims has been crystal clear and consistent. Thanks for your interest, but no. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stood up in Parliament, where you don't mess around with facts, and categorically stated that no country asked India to halt Operation Sindoor. None. Zip. Zilch. Nada. The Ministry of External Affairs back him up, explicitly saying that trade negotiations and tariff discussions with the United States had nothing, zero, absolute zero, to do with the decision to cease fire with Pakistan. Let me break down what India is saying. They launched a counter-terror operation in response to an attack on their soil. They conducted military strikes. They engaged in direct military-to-military dialogue with Pakistan. They reached a ceasefire agreement. All of this happened through their own decision-making process. No American intervention. No tariff threats swaying their military strategy. Just India, Pakistan, and their generals on a phone call hammering out an agreement. India is basically saying, "We appreciate the enthusiasm, Mr. President, but this was our operation, our decisions, our ceasefire. You weren't in the room where it happened." And they have every right to push back on this narrative, because having another country claim credit for your military and diplomatic decisions, that's not just inaccurate. It undermines your sovereignty. So that brings us back to Mark Carney in the Oval Office, praising Trump for this alleged peace deal.